We're back, pregame.tv. This is the final video of the week. It's Monday Night Football. We've got the Green Bay Packers at the Seattle Seahawks. This is Tony George's free pick. And Tony, you've been known as Mr. Monday Night. You've had a great run the last 2 years on Monday Night Football. Who's your play here, and tell us why?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great Monday Night Football game for starters. Just Seattle grabbing a lot of headlines, guys, last week, beating up on America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, and now they're hosting the Green Bay Packers, who had a relatively easy time against Chicago because I think Chicago kind of imploded in that game last Thursday. Green Bay's got a couple extra days to get ready for this game too, which I think is an advantage to them. But as I look at this game, I'm looking at the total more so than the side play. Get 3.5. Points involved, right around a fall number there. The total in this game opened up a little above 47. Now it's at 47. I got to look at Seattle's defense, guys, and their offense in this game. Seattle's defense has held 8 of their last 10 opponents to 21 points or less, dating back through last year. Got a very active, defensive front line. They're ranked 6th right now. It's only been a couple of weeks now, but they're ranked 6th in total yards allowed. They also are ranked 3rd in points allowed, only allowing 13 points a game. They're also 2nd in running the football. Allowed against people running the football against them. Now you look at their offense, they're ranked 28th in total yards. They've got a rookie quarterback. I don't think they're going to put a lot of points up on the board, and they're going to play a Green Bay offense this week that is averaging 23 points a game, which is unusual for Green Bay's offense. Green Bay's got some trouble on the offensive line. I think there's a mismatch there. They can't run the football all that well. They tried against Chicago and had some success. But I think I'm finding some value a little bit here and maybe sniffing the under in this one.
Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with this. You talk about Green Bay not, whether we had 30 points last year, there's bound to be some regression there. What I find interesting, and you kind of touched on this, you go back to Seattle, their last 11 games, nobody scored more than 23 points against them in their last 11 games. And what was even more impressive, 8 out of those 11 games, they were the underdogs. So the other team was the better team, and they still held them to 23 points or less.
There's no question that Seattle, you talk about a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team. I mean, if our buddy Sean...
Which one is the bad one again?
Yeah, I always mess that up. But if our buddy Sean from the Tuesday meetings listening, this one's for you, Sean. You bet Seattle at home, you go against them on the road. The last 14 home games versus NFC teams, they're 11-3 against the spread, Seattle. So, the numbers are stacking up there. But one thing I'm just going to say that you pointed out that they're not scoring this year, Green Bay. The first week they played the 49ers. And I'm going to tell you, there's not going to be a lot of teams in the NFL that are going to be scoring points on the 49ers this year. So, that's a big, it takes a big chunk out of the point total. And then they had to turn around and come back and play on a short week against the Bears, who have a decent defense, not the monsters of the Midway of old, but they're still a decent defense. So let's not be too down on the Green Bay offense just yet. What's the second point?
Second point is the Green Bay defense. Actually, if you take a look at Green Bay's defense, currently ranked 5th in total yards allowed in the league after 2 weeks, and they played a couple of pretty good teams in the Chicago Bears, which they just basically rendered them useless and completely took them out of their game plan. Really attacked the quarterback well. Green Bay's not known to get after the quarterback. They're going to be getting after the quarterback this week because Wilson's a rookie. But I like the fact that Green Bay's offense has yet to find their way. They're having trouble with their offensive line. And bear in mind, Dallas has had a little trouble with their offensive line, and Seattle was able to exploit that last week.
Perfect storm, though, for Seattle last week. Dallas came off. We talk about playoff revenge. It wasn't actually playoff revenge, but it was revenge from keeping them to get into the playoffs last year, that opening game against the Giants. That was a huge game for the Cowboys, and we've seen it so many times. The Cowboys, they have a big game like that. They're just not disciplined. I don't know what it is. They always seem to regress that next week. They fell behind, special teams score, and that's the key to what kept Seattle, is the play last week. They were able to play from ahead. It's totally different when you've got a young quarterback and you've got a lead and you can play with the lead. If they fall behind in this game, that's my only concern, is if Green Bay is able to get a couple quick scores, and then you've got to take Russell Wilson and make him have to produce passing the ball, that's where things could get ugly, either for the Green Bay side pulling away, or if you get a couple cheap scores defensively, if you get a pick six or something.
I just wanted to point out, from the Green Bay standpoint, you take a look at the Packers, you think they have a great home field advantage, and it's very good. But Mike McCarthy, in his 6 years at Green Bay, every single year, they did not have a losing record on the road. So he's very good as taking his team on the road. So it's a situation here where you can go either way on the side, but I can agree with you on the total here.
All right, Tony, this is your free pick, so we're going to wrap it up, let you give us your final summary on this one, and tell us officially who your best bet or your free pick is.
Monday Night Football, I don't find a lot of value in the point spread with the number 3 one way or the other. A lot of question marks about both these teams offensively. I don't find any question marks about either one of these teams defensively. I think you got some very active defenses here. I've got a power rating on this game at 40. The line's at 47. That gives me a 7-point overlay. I'm putting you guys for my best bet, Monday Night Football, on the under.
All right, well, there you go. You actually got a second best bet from him. We thought it was just a regular free pick, and you surprised us. You're giving us another best bet.
Well, I'm 0-2. I'm 0-2 on premium, so let's go public with it.
All right.
We'll make it 1-2.
You're in Vegas. You want to go large, so that's it.
There we go.
We want to thank Tony George for sitting in this week. He flew into town. He says he flew in just to do videos, but I think that he's having some drinks and cocktails over at the Rio later.
Absolutely.
And Brian Leonard, thanks again for being here. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. That wraps it up for this week. We'll be back next week, pregame.tv. We'll be covering all the college and pro action from all the big games and the primetime games next week. Good luck this weekend with all of your wagers.